Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show we go mad with Max and Furiosa in the rundown.
Plus, I slice over the Gears of War Ultimate Edition to find out what's inside.
I do it this way. Come on.
And then Jose and Sophia review the new King's Quest adventure.
Oh, can I pet your goats? Stay away from my majestic unicorns.
Also coming up, we speak with the makers of the sci-fi musical Bang Bang Baby. Vic and I have an extended dream with Abyss Odyssey and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Marissa Roberto, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. What a lovely, lovely day to start the rundown. Get ready for more fury in Australia's post-apocalyptic wasteland. Deadline reports that Warner Brothers is interested in making a spin-off of this summer's Mad Max Fury Road, which would focus on Charlize Theron's character, Imperator Furiosa. The character, like many others in the Mad Max universe, is a total badass, and many felt that she stole the show from the titular hero played by Tom Hardy. Max doesn't have a reason to be mad, though. The studio is also rumored to be interested in making another sequel that would once again focus on him. It all comes down to director George Miller. Since he created the characters and owned the rights, it's up to him if more movies can move forward. He has expressed an interest, so keep your fingers crossed.
I am awaited in Valhalla!
Xbox One and Wii U owners might soon be able to join the fun of Rocket League. Speaking with GameZone, developer Psyonix revealed that they're currently looking to bring the hit Cars soccer game to other platforms like the Xbox One and Wii U. They add that the only reason the game is available on just PC and PS4 right now is because the development team is so small, and it was easier to focus on just those two at the start. We'll let you know if Rocket League finds its way to other systems. If you want to know why the game is so popular, you can watch our review at epn.tv. That's it for the rundown. Now look who it is to join me. It is my plaid-wearing friend, Victor Lucas.
I bring the plaid.
This is a nice one. I like this one.
And the party.
This is like salt and pepper, and there's a little mustard in there.
What would you give it out of 10?
I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10,
But
fantastic.
moving right along to Rocket League, this is going to be making its move to Wii U and Xbox One.
I think it may. That's not confirmed yet because
Right.
Sony's locked up all kinds of exclusive sort of hugs and friendlies and warm fuzzies.
Yeah, backpats. No,
Yeah.
it's going to be fine. They're going to move.
I think it's going to be okay,
Yeah.
because this is a game that is really crossing over. Everybody is talking about it this
Yes.
summer. I think it's safe to say Rocket League is the game of the summer.
Totally.
Right.
Everybody's talking about this thing.
Yes.
Everybody. I just went to D23 and everybody there was talking about it too. Like, people love this thing, and I love that they love it because I didn't, honestly, I played this thing and I demoed it when they were first talking about it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a lot of fun, but I didn't expect it to pick up like this.
Well, and this is the thing. I mean, I think the online communities out there are always looking for different types of experiences to
Yeah.
play. We know we've got Call of Duty. We know we've got some sports stuff
course,
coming.
yeah.
But it's fun when you mix it all up like this and just bring out something new that looks so flashy and plays so well. So
Right.
congrats to the guys.
And speaking of crazy cars, let's
Yeah.
talk about Mad Max because Furiosa is going to be getting her own spin-off, which is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah,
Thank you, universe.
I think it's up to George Miller, though.
No, we're
doesn't-
gonna get it.
It doesn't matter what we want. George Miller takes his time, and he's an auteur, and he gets what he wants with this stuff on screen, you know? So I hope it happens, because she was one of the best things in Fury
No,
Road.
this is gonna happen. It has to happen, or what is the point of anything anymore?
So Marissa Imperator
Yes.
is demanding that we get a Furiosa movie.
Oh my God, this girl kicked so much
She was
butt. Are you kidding
Charlize
me?
was an unbelievable,
Holy
performer
smokes.
in that, and that sort of head-to-head with Tom Hardy. That
Yeah.
was just riveting stuff. I can't wait to watch that movie again.
Oh,
I
man,
can't wait
yeah.
to lose myself in the video game. We've got more Mad Max coming in some pretty substantial ways.
Yeah,
it's a good time
big
to
time.
be
Yeah,
alive.
of course. And Mad Max might be getting his own another one as well.
I would
but I'm
imagine.
assuming that he's going to, of
Yes.
course, because I mean, it was kind of a hit.
It's up to George Miller. What do we got to do? George Miller,
what are we
please,
gonna do, man?
please.
Should we tweet at you?
Bring
Are
us-
you on Twitter?
Bring us
Tell
more Max and
All right.
Furiosa.
We gotta move right along because what is this? Gears of War Ultimate Edition? You got a new toy, Victor Lucas?
Yep.
Gears of War is coming back, and Rod Ferguson is the man that is in charge of making sure our baby is the same baby we know and love, but a slightly different one, right?
A slightly prettier baby.
Yes.
Slightly prettier baby. A little bit more modern, contemporary babies. It's exciting to be back and revealing so much.
Welcome back to the Army, soldier.
Well, you now are based in Vancouver, BC. How does it feel to have worked in Raleigh, North Carolina on this franchise that went on to be a blockbuster, but then to try to recreate the Gears vibe
Right.
in a very peaceful city of Vancouver.
Yeah. It's been great. The team up at the Coalition is amazing. It's an energy that I haven't felt before, like since Gears 1. After 8 years in Raleigh, everybody was kind of like, hey, I wonder what else kind of things we could be doing. But you go up to in the Coalition, everybody just loves working on Gears. It's on every screen. Everybody's just so excited. And now to be actually able to reveal it, and everybody's like, oh, we can talk again now. We don't have to be quiet for a year and a half. So it's been great.
Is the Coalition overseeing the Gears of War 1 remake?
Yeah, so the Coalition oversaw the Ultimate Edition, but we're working with a partner in the UK called Splash Damage.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we sort of established a baseline of what we're looking for. We also redid all the cinematics inside the Coalition, but then we worked with them to do the rest of the game. But we replaced all 4,000 art assets, so we took basically the core simulation of what the game was back in 2006 and 7, and then we just rebuilt everything else from scratch on it. So all the characters, all the models, all the weapons, all rebuilt from scratch. Back in 2006, we were running out of time, and so we were doing these things called Frankensteinies, where you take the motion from one cinematic and you make a new one with the same motion, and you try to hide it as best you can.
Yeah.
So that was one of the first things we sat down with Kyle, the cinematic director, and I. We went through and we said, what's the intention we were trying to get across back in 2006? What was the story beats we were trying to hit? And then we went back and really nailed on those and got mocap for every scene. And now with the quality of the facial animations, now we can go really tight. When Marcus watches Min be stabbed by Rom, like you can see it on his face. And so we really tried to layer in a lot more detail and really tell the story the way we wanted it to be told back in 2006. And also now we're able to put the game in context with the rest of the trilogy. So, when we did Gears 1, we didn't know there was going to be a Gears 2 and a Gears 3, so we couldn't foreshadow to things like that. And a real simple example is we didn't know that the prison was called the Slab. And so when Karen wrote the book, The Slab, she named the prison. And so we went back. And so when you play Ultimate Edition, you walk out as Marcus, the first thing you see is Welcome to the Slab in blood. And and it ties it all back in. So now when you go back, it actually feels like it's part of the whole trilogy makes sense now from that perspective.
And I'm wondering what disciplines and what new ways to approach developing Gears you're sort of implementing into the next Gears installment next year.
You mean for Gears 4?
Looks like it went this way. Come on.
We're going from Unreal Engine 3 without we've maxed out as far as we can take it, and now we're with Gears 4, we're on Unreal Engine 4, so that's a whole new set of tools and toys to play with to try to help push the platform and push the game. It's really interesting. We did Gears 1 with 80 people, and you can't make AAA games with 80 people anymore, and so it's all about specialization and having lighters and environment artists and very unique disciplines that are really top in the skills in their particular discipline, and having a lot of them because it's a lot of content to make a AAA game.
Gears of War Ultimate Edition comes out tomorrow. That was a chainsaw. Was it terrible?
That was good. Yeah, that was pretty good, actually. You're very good at sound effects.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Don't go anywhere because after the break, we've got a review of Abyss Odyssey.
Welcome back to the Electric Playground. It's time now for Marissa and I to enter Dreamscape because we've got a review of a very strange looking game. It's called Abyss Odyssey Extended Dream Edition. Take a look.
I get a little frightened sometimes when you start to review a game from Atlas because it usually involves a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a lot of imagination.
Yeah.
We are talking about Abyss Odyssey Extended Dream Edition.
Yep.
This has made its way to the PS4, and that's exactly where we're playing it.
Yep.
It's an interesting game, most like a lot of games that I've been playing from Atlas lately.
Yeah. This is a roguelike, which is very much in vogue right now. It's a 2D scrolling one. It's made with 3D assets and some really lovely artwork here. I really like the aesthetics of this game. I thought they were terrific. Even the sequences where the characters would pop up and have discussions back and forth, all of that stuff is just rendered really beautifully.
It is. It's like a fairy tale,
Yes.
a storybook coming to life, which is very interesting. It is darker than that, though.
Yeah. Well, you're descending into this great
you
abyss,
are.
this hellacious evil filled with grotesque monsters and demons to fight.
Yes.
It's cartoony though, but it does skew dark.
It's very adult.
And
It's a-
adult, yeah.
It's a very adult experience with adult themes and stories here that you try to wrap your mind around, but I just find the problem here with this is that I didn't have any fun while trying to discover these things. So the combat here is not really interesting to me at all. I didn't have any fun with it.
Something that seems to be pervasive in the roguelikes is that they have cumbersome controls on purpose. The controls challenge you because part of the game conceit is to die and to start at the top again and to try to get further than you did last time.
Right, which is interesting.
Yes, but also frustrating.
When I die, I get so frustrated and I just want to throw my controller. And like, that is it for me. I am freaking done with this thing. I look for every reason to hate it. And that's what was happening here with me while I was playing it.
Yeah, but they do something interesting here. A couple things. First of all, they give you the ability to transform into some of the enemies that you pick up. You pick up sort of the soul of them. You start off as a female warrior, a mystical warrior with magic powers named Catrion. If she is getting bludgeoned and her health is dropping down and you don't have any potions, you can switch over to one of the enemies that you've picked up and try to advance a little bit further that way, although they seem to be pretty weak and their mechanics are a lot less forgiving even than the main character.
Yeah.
And then when you die as the main character, you'll become a human character who is trying to avenge and protect and resurrect the character down at one of the sort of temple areas that you have
Yeah,
to
there's
get
like a
past.
respawn area.
Yeah.
Like a shrine.
But the humans are incredibly weak
They're so weak.
and very easy and quick to die. But that gives you like this extra little bonus round of a little time to try to survive.
Even in the first stages, I mean, these skeletons that we're fighting seem to have so much power. Their health meter seems to be way too big for the first enemies that we're taking on.
Well, once you figure out the routines, you do level up fairly quickly and you do progress and you have a choice. You basically can decide to go horizontally or laterally in the levels to see if you can unlock some other stuff and unlock some weapons, and you can purchase better weapons, and that's incredibly important, just like it is in most roguelikes.
Yes, and you find different scrolls and different journal entries that you then can go back and read, which are very interesting, by the way. I took a lot of screenshots of my TV. I just kept taking photos of these interesting stories. Just crazy, this lore that they're feeding
The
us.
fiction's as ornate as the artwork, you know, and as intricate as the artwork. I think they've done a pretty fantastic job. This is a Chilean company named Ace, and I think they've done a really interesting job. I didn't play the original because it came out on the PS3 and the 360, I think, a little more than a year ago. I dug it. I think it's pretty cool. And then, you know, I unlocked a monk character who had different abilities. I think there's a lot to kind of unravel and enjoy out of this, and it's not very expensive.
It's true. That's the thing. It's a very inexpensive game where you're getting a lot of time. You get a lot of time, a lot of entertainment here. You just have to really want to consume it. I feel like it's just too challenging. There's too much of a hurdle for me to overcome.
Yes.
I see failure in front of me, and I can't see past it.
I understand. I mean, that frustration, I think, turns off a lot of people.
Yeah.
What are you going to give Abyss Odyssey Extended Dream Edition?
It's not for me. It's getting a 6.5.
I liked it quite a bit more than that. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Abyss Odyssey is available right now, and it's great when games surprise us like that. Now, we don't often get to take a look at sci-fi musicals on this show, but we've got one for you right now. It's called Bang Bang Baby.
It was really, really, really fun. I know that's like what people say, but I had one of the best times making this movie. It was also challenging, and at times I felt like I had no idea what I was doing, and I felt really uncomfortable and out of my comfort zone. I got to explore singing, which is something I hadn't done since I was 8, and dancing, which is wonderful. And the first thing I responded to in the script was the humor. It was like kitschy 50s, 60s words that I don't usually use, like gee whiz, gee golly, jumping Jehoshaphat, which was really, really fun. And the singing and dancing was always really lighthearted. But all of that energy and those numbers are her escaping her real life sadness, whether it be through hallucination because of the chemical plant or just her escapism. We all have our own way of escaping. But hers is just her imagination, which can still be harmful. And then she takes control of her life, like a real hero.
Stephanie, have you noticed seeing some strange things lately?
No, I haven't.
He's definitely creepy, and he's definitely, not a great guy, but he never thinks of himself that way. He's a guy who thinks of himself as a really good guy, and he doesn't really have an understanding of how he's destroying this girl's life. So to him, he feels like an innocent. I think David believed in that for the performance, and I think that, in a way, it makes it uncomfortably sympathetic at moments, also more creepy, because I think it's more creepy to have somebody who really believes they're good than have a character who just knows they're a bad guy, if you will.
No, Fabian, I said I have not.
2 of the songs we actually did record on set live, and they're in the movie. And then the rest we pre-recorded in a studio. I lip-synced to them on set, and then I re-recorded afterwards. And that was really an interesting experience. It's scary, it's brand new, and you're listening to yourself, and you're sitting right there, and so you want to do it good, and the more you tense up, the less your voice comes out. So you have to learn how to relax. And I'm proud of what we all found together.
Come on up here, baby doll. Bang, bang, baby. Bang, bang.
Bang Bang Baby is in theaters now, but don't go anywhere because after the break, Jose and Sophia join us with King's Quest.
Ooh. Whisper can do it.
Welcome back to the Electric Playground. Not too long ago, Sierra re-emerged as a big video game brand after many years of being very quiet. One of the big games that they brought out is called King's Quest. Here's Jose and Sophia with their review.
Oh, can I pet your goats? Stay away from my majestic unicorns.
It's been almost 17 years since the last King's Quest came out, and now we have King's Quest, A Night to Remember. Very old franchise, just really makes me feel old with this one. But Jose, what did you think? Episode 1.
It's going to be a huge episodic game. I mean, this episode is a huge chunk of gameplay in itself. I got to a point where I thought I was coming near the end of this episode, and then was like 10% in. This was like 6-7 hours just for the first episode of this game, which a lot of episodic games, you don't get that much content built into one portion of it, but I thought it was a huge chunk. I really enjoyed the art style of this game. It's just something that it looks like that old school Dragon's Lair hand-drawn art style feel to it. And I mean, Christopher Lloyd.
I tried to turn that crazy contraption, but it was missing a handle. Someone tampered with it.
He's there telling a story to his grandchild Gwendolyn. He's kind of recounting his adventures as a young lad back in Daventry when this is before he was king. I felt like everything was paced really well. It was streamlined. The puzzles mostly made sense. I did get stuck on this one point where I realized you could actually just pull the string and get the piece of meat. Pull the string. If you see it, just pull it.
Pull the string. You always pull the string.
There are different ways to solve the puzzles. I mean, granted, there's kind of like a linear path, and if you get stuck on one, you're actually just stuck. But I do like the fact that you can use different items that you pick up throughout the game to solve the same puzzle. Yeah. And that kind of, it changes things up and makes you kind of want to play it again because there's different dialogue options. There are these hidden trophies that you can find.
No, I also found a hidden trophy. If you jump after a frog 9 or 10 times, trophy.
Trophy? Yeah, you actually should try to screw up, try to go the wrong way, try to get yourself killed, because sometimes that will lead to some funny dialogue sequences.
Yeah, and that's how I found the trophy. It was like, oh, I went after the frog 2 times, or it was 3 times. I lost track of how many times I went after the frog. That's right, it was 8 times. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going after this damn frog, because something's gonna happen. He's like, I jumped after this frog 9 times. I deserve an achievement or a trophy for that. And then, ba-ding, Joe, yes, trophy. Thank you, Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, having Christopher Lloyd narrate and kind of jump in kind of helps guide you towards where you need to go. So there are a lot of hints.
2 odd contraptions guarded the lost treasure. I would have to turn one and see what happened.
It's not going to be super obvious, but they will say it's like, oh, maybe I should look at that thing over there, and kind of point you in the right direction.
Yeah, so you don't feel like a complete dumbass when you're like, what? I was literally staring at that thing for 10 minutes. All I had to do was push this button. I feel like the story is very important to a game like King's Quest, and the voice acting alone. I mean, not just Christopher Lloyd. There's some like top caliber voice talent within this game itself. I mean, they got the guy from Princess Bride playing a little gnome, and he's like, there's a little drinking game at the end that's very Princess Bride-esque. You're gonna drink this potion, and I'm gonna drink it, and it's inconceivable.
Whisper! Ooh. Whisper can do it.
I love the puzzles, and I just kind of love the quirky and the lighthearted nature of the whole thing. It's great to play with kids. I'm guessing you can partner up with someone. It's really fun to just watch because it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful looking game. I mean, it's literally like you're playing an old school animated TV show, and you get the experience of the narrator telling you a story, much like, all of the amazing movies of my youth. Fred Savage. You know what I'm talking about?
Do you miss that?
I miss it. I miss Grandpa Joe telling me stories. So, A Night to Remember. Was it a game to remember?
It was a game to remember. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10.
I'm right there with you. 8 out of 10 for me. Hold the king!
Thanks, guys. All right, stick around. We've got to take a break, but when we come back, it's the Twitter question of the day.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. It is now time for the best part of today's show. This is the Twitter question of the day. This one comes from Joshua Raymond. He is at Astillion. Oh, that's a pretty good one. All right, I would like to get a controller for my Android phone, and I was wondering which one you would recommend.
See, this is what's cool about Android. It's much more open than the Apple environment is, and that means that you can find ways to work with kind of any Bluetooth type controller that you want to out there, including things like the PlayStation 4 controller, one of the Wii remote things if you want to play sort of old school classic games. There's tons of really cool Bluetooth controllers out there.
You're the controller man with a controller plan.
Yeah.
So do you have one in mind?
I love the PS4 controller. Okay. I love, I really am a big fan of the Xbox One controller as well. I don't know if that works with the Android phone.
Okay.
I would imagine it would though.
Yeah.
But Moga has been a fantastic mobile developer for controllers for either Android or for iOS. I'm a big fan of the Moga Rebel, which is it's a great controller.
I know, you talk about it a lot.
Good question. If you've got a question for us, or you want to get caught up on episodes, or you want to watch my review of the Moga Rebel, go to epn.tv.
We've got more coming for the next episode of EP Daily, including more with the cast of Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.
We were a band in the early 90s called the Heathens in New York, but we broke up the same day our record came out. The album got a lot of respect in Europe, and now the lead singer Johnny Rock, after 25 years, wants to get the band back together again. I play guitar now for Lady Gaga, and Johnny's still walking the streets of New York in the same clothes.
I'm not overdosing. That's way too cliche.
What if somebody shot you?
Who'd want to shoot me?